All right. A bit here and a bit there is the best way to describe this show. A little bit development here, a little bit of development there, someone taken out here, someone taken out there, and the introduction of Gallus again. Now, I'm not going to tell you Gallus is... Oh. I'm not saying I'm bored of Gallus. But to be honest, I would have thought it would have been better to Gallus stay on the main roster. If they don't have anything for them, I can understand why they brought them back to NXT. There's no problem. But they barely even showed up on the main roster at any time. And you would think, because of how things are going, you would think, since there is no more Brawling Brutes, the New Catch Republic would be the only equivalent to them, not talking about Pretty Deadly, you would think Gallus would be a wise thing to do, especially that there's no more at all Imperium. Imperium's broken up. Yeah, you still have Kaiser and I'd rather call him Walter than Gunther, to be honest. I think Walter sounded better. That's just me. But seeing that Kaiser and Gunther are working together, but they're not tagging together, another faction could be used on Raw, SmackDown. You would think they would do that. And no. Let's open with the qualifier for the North American Championship for the women. And we get Thea Hale versus Fallon Henley. Now, let's make this clear. Do I believe Thea Hale is ready? No. Has she been developed well? Yes, to a certain extent. But do you believe that Fallon Henley is ready? Yes. Do you believe that she could be one of those women that could take the North American title? Yes. Does she deserve it? Yes. But should she have it? No. Now, let me explain why we talk about this match. The match between the two was an emotional type of match. It was meant to show that Thea Hale is just so frustrated that every person that she has befriended outside of Chase U, which has been pretty much JC James, who is out because of a broken nose, and now Fallon Henley, it's made her boil. And that was one of the weak points of her. But seeing that it was, well, Rich Holland grabbing a chair from Fallon Henley to try and stop her, and that the rest of Chase U got thrown out, now we have another story where after Fallon Henley did win her match clean, she won it clean, like I expected her to win it clean, and now she's going on to the North American Championship semifinals. We now have nothing really for Thea other than Rich Holland. Rich Holland has been treating her like a child, not in the sense that just be quiet, be good. No, he sees her like his daughter, and he wants to help and protect her. And then you see the one who wants Thea Hale, let me give it to you like this. When you look at Osborne, Osmond. How can I explain when you're looking at this situation with Riley? Riley is in love with Thea, but he's way too underdeveloped himself to make the story mean something. I'm sorry, he just is. The only thing that really has great amount of development is Rich Holland, and now they are at odds with each other. And it feels like they transition from Thea to Rich because they want to do something with pretty much Riley, but I don't know if they really want to do something with Riley because the question is going to be, what would they do with him? They're going to turn him heel? Will he disappear and Rich will take his place and Chase U? It's hard to say what the deal is, and now they're going to have a match next week, but this is just me. I just don't know where they're going right now. But it is a development for Rich, and to a certain extent, it will be Thea working with Rich Holland. It will not be Thea working with Andre Chase. I just feel like eventually there's going to be an odds between Rich and Andre. You guys tell me below. Next, we get the second match, which was a tag title match that was set up earlier in the night between Axiom and Frazier when they talk with the family, because the Don has let me give it to you like this. Does he look good with the Heritage Cup? Actually does. He actually looks like a legitimate champion with that damn thing. He just feels legitimate with it. Unlike when it was a Nolan Dar. And I'm not going to say that, well, the No Quarter Catch crew, I didn't see Damon Kemp as a champion. I did see Drew Gulak as a champion, but he's gone due to the fact of allegations. And then you went and put Charlie Dempsey as champion, but he is so underdeveloped with no character whatsoever. He just didn't feel legitimate. And I know people would say, oh, you don't need characters. You don't need them. Yes, you do. Particularly in WWE, you need them. Because sooner or later, you're going to have to do more than just having great matches in the ring. You got to prove that you can do something else. And Charlie didn't feel it. Now, I'm not saying he can eventually be there, because he can talk pretty damn well. The thing I think he really needs to develop himself is working with his father. I know that they don't want to go there, but let's make this clear. Having interaction with his dad, legitimately, his legitimate father, and William Regal will help his development. That he can guide him, but then not guide him. That when he starts screwing up, his father says, oh, what are you doing, kid? Do you need a little smack on the ass like I used to do when you were a little kid, And seeing that interaction without a match could help Charlie to develop if they allow it. This is just how I feel. Now, the match between Crucifino, sorry, I was saying Crucifino. Crucifino and Stax was a good one, but guess what we got? We get the No Quarter Catch crew coming out and attacking right before the match was over. And that is how pretty much the tag champs won, because pretty much Stax was pretty much distracted. That's the deal. But it doesn't take anything from them, but it's what we got. And yes, the OC attacked afterward, which I'm not surprised. They want the titles. It's the only titles they have never claimed in the company. They're going for it. Whether you agree with it or not, this is what we got. Next, the three-way #1 contender for Battleground. Now, last week, it seems that Ibar was taken out indefinitely. He's done. He's out. And then which I still can't believe, that you're hearing Briggs say, I want him in the match now. Because I want him. And Wes wants the same thing. So you get Joe Coffey, not his brother and his partner, Joe, because that's the way it's going. That's just the dumb babyface mentality. Or dumb heel mentality. Someone takes someone out that's supposed to be in a match and take you out along with it. You want revenge, but then you put them into a title, #1 contendership match for a title before basing a pay-per-view. Or PLE. I hate the PLE. I just don't agree with the premium live event. That is something Vince implemented. I'm sure of it. It's not a Triple H thing that came out before Ari Emanuel came in. It was Vince. He wanted to make pay-per-view sound important again, so he changed it into something more premium. Now, it works because people like it, but for me personally, I think pay-per-view is pretty much a premium, and it doesn't need to be changed. That's the reason why TNA is still holding it as... No, actually, TNA is not holding it like that, because now they're calling it premium live events. Probably AEW may actually change it as well, because WWE does a trend. Doesn't mean it's a great trend, but that's what we get. But was this a good match? Let me put it to you like this. We now got Joe Coffey and Wesley winning due to the fact that Gallus nailed a Josh Briggs just before the match was over. He was laid out, he was knocked out, and both of them pinned him at the same time. Literally, they both fell onto him, and that's how the pin done. But for me personally, this is how it feels. This will be the second time that Obafemi has to do a triple threat to win. And it makes me very concerned that they believe that he's just not good enough to do a singles match with somebody. That's the way it feels, guys. This feels like when it comes to Obafemi, he's a big-ass man who's freaking strong and talks pretty well. Not great, but pretty well. But when you see them do more than one match, when it's not a singles match, it's a triple threat or a four-way, fatal four-way, or more than that, when a wrestler is like that, usually they're trying to hide something. I'm sorry. And I can understand. Obafemi is not developed enough. He's still very unseasoned as a pro wrestler. He's strong as a freaking ox. He can throw people around the ring. His ring work is not that great. Being incredibly strong doesn't hide the fact of technique. And that's one major problem he has. He may have been one of the greatest shot putters that was around, but as a pro wrestler, he's a lot to learn what it means. Not about holds, drop kicks, suplexes. It's about psychology, and he just doesn't have it yet. He's okayish when he's trying to get himself over, but he can't get his opponent over. That's just how it looks. Next, Reese's. Oh, and she's kind of like Reese's peanut butter cup to me. And that's Reese. Chocolate on the outside, gooey on the inside. Now, I know you're going to say, isn't she a white blonde? Yeah. But think of it like this. The way she is, she's highly energetic. She's sweet. And she's gooey on the inside. You can see that, yes, the woman's in freaking shape. Exercises her head off. She's working with Brave and Fumi. But has a very hardened interior that is sweet. And she's gooey in the side. Now you look at Jada Parker, Miss Parker, who is being shared decently well. Let's just hope that this hair she has on her head and the extension she had like a clip-on bow to her hair. Let's hope this time it don't fall out, because that was embarrassing. That was. Let's hope she did extensions or something to lock that bitch in. But for Miss Parker, she's not Reese's peanut butter cup. She just isn't. She's more of a Butterfinger. Hard on the outside, hard on the inside, and want to be crunched. Because she wants to show how dominant she is. She wants to show how, I can't believe I'm going to food references. But pretty much that's what she feels like. You got one who is basically a Butterfinger, and the other one who's a Reese's peanut butter cup, kind of going with the name Reese. And you could see it in the match. Yes, they were both rough, they were tough, but you can see Miss Parker was a lot more. She didn't need to cheat. She basically just whooped that ass. And that's when you got Miss Parker, and she's moving on to the semifinals right now. What, is it the finals or semifinals? I can't remember. Let me give it to you like this. When it came to this match, this was not about a match. This was about trying to set someone up who's going to be on the NXT roster, and that's Dante Chen. Now, I've not seen NXT Level Up that is currently being used on X to get exposure to these wrestlers, to get them over. I haven't looked at it, and I have no interest in looking at it. Hell, I have a Twitter account for quite a while, well, X, for many years, and I've only used it briefly when I first got it, and I still have it. It works, but I don't use it unless I want to just check someone if it's very important. I don't use it because I know how toxic it is. So I have no interest in going to watch Level Up on X. There's no point you're going to ask me, dude, you should watch it. No, I'm not going to watch it because I know how freaking toxic people can be. I don't want to have nothing to do with that. But Dante Chen is supposedly important enough that they made it clear as the first Singapore pro wrestler to go into WWE. Not much different than the first Chinese wrestler or the first Chinese women's wrestler. We got another first, which is not bad. But do I believe that he's a good wrestler? No. You look at that match with him and Alexis King, it shows 100% that he's freaking sloppy. They may see something in him, and they've now paired him up with Mr. Stone because Mr. Stone doesn't have Von Wagner anymore. He's gone. They want to put him with somebody they believe that could develop. But honestly, what I see right now is not ready. He ain't ready. I just don't feel it. I don't see it. I see nothing. But it doesn't mean he will not develop and convince me that he could be worth it. He's got a lot of work to do. Hopefully, they'll be willing to put the time in, show him in vid packs, show him in wrestling, show him talking with Mr. Stone. Because remember, you can't always just get over with pro wrestling moves. You must have something more than that, because sooner or later, and this is WWE, they want you to do character development. So this is what you get. Now, we're getting Sexy Red next week. Now, she's supposedly been a multi-time, I think, a Grammy Award winner. I'm sorry, guys. I don't really keep up with music. I mean, I like music, and when a great song hits me, I don't care if it's new or old. I don't give a damn. Once it gets me, I like it. That's just me. Now, mind you, I am someone who likes house music and trance. It doesn't mean I don't like rock sometimes, or maybe rarely rap, or rhythm and blues. But it's got to be something that just grabs me. I don't care if it's new or old. I don't give a damn. Now, the picture they showed of her, thick. Thick. She made the choice to wear something that her nipple could pop right out. She's thick, and she wore something that hopefully will make her look attractive enough that you want to sell any of her music. But as far as I'm concerned, what will we really get with Sexy Red? What are we getting next week? Are we getting some type of rival with somebody in NXT? Or she's just going to be there because she wants to play her music? Don't know. We'll find out next week. Now, let me say this with Roxanne Perez's vid pack. It wasn't bad. Seeing that they're really focusing on her being there and being cared about in NXT, I'm glad to see. But to be honest, she should have already left NXT and should be on the main roster right now. Because she's developed enough at this point. If Lyra Valkyria could have gone, why couldn't Roxanne Perez? Hell, Roxanne could have overshadowed her in this case, mostly due to the fact of her, let's be honest, she's Booker T's girl. I'm surprised she didn't jump the line at least on Lyra and go there, because Booker T trained her in reality wrestling. She has been pretty well developed, and she looks good for what she's been developed into. Lyra Valkyria, yes, she's developed herself as well, but let me make it clear. What was the difference? You got a legend in Booker T who you would think would bring her in. Or was it the current female champion on Raw bringing her in, Becky Lynch? That's what I think had happened. Because I think Becky, if she wasn't currently the champ, it was a good possibility that, in my humble opinion, because I have no proof, this is my gut feeling, that you got Becky, you got Booker T. Who are they going to listen to more? Who is currently on the payroll that is actually bringing them money and actual eyes on their product? It ain't Booker T. It's Becky. So they're going to go with Becky's decision over Booker T. He might already said, she's ready. My girl, my prodigy, who came from my developmental promotion, she is ready. Let her go. And they'll look at her and then they say, yeah, she looks good. Then you hear Becky and says, bring up Lyra. I work with her. I know she can do it. But we're thinking about getting the prodigy. He said, bring up Lyra. Make me happy. Trust me. Trust me. Make me happy. Bring her up. She will prove you right. That she can make it. And there you go. Now, Trick Willie had his moment talking about Nolan Dar getting attacked and saying it wasn't him. He doesn't attack people from behind. If he's going to attack somebody, he will put his boot in their face. And then we get Metaphor coming out without Nolan Dar. And seeing Lash Legend protecting Naboo. She basically saying this is not what he does. He's gone through it. And they're telling him, how do you know this wasn't him? And then we got Joe Coffey coming out saying, you're wondering why I'm here when I've now won a spot at the PLE and the North American Championship. Well, it's because I want to make it very clear, you're done. The rest of... Let me give it to you like this. When you see the rest of Gallus and then you see a Levon Evans, you would figure there's going to be a match. And that's what we got. The current champion working with now someone who's just bouncy. who feels 100% generic. The only thing he has is the word bouncy. He's not better than Wesley. He's not better than Nathan Frazier. He's not better than Axiom. He just isn't. He's not better than them. On the main roster, he's not better than Dragon Lee. He's not better than Ricochet. He just isn't. He has a lot of work ahead of him, but they believe so much in him. Now he's going to have a match with the current champion. To be honest, I'd rather see him more developed before he would get that spot. I do not understand why they're giving him the spot. It just doesn't feel right. He has not shown any development yet. He's had a few matches. He's had a chance to talk a little bit, and I just don't feel it from him. Is he a good high-flying wrestler? Compared to the others, he's not on par. This is all the people I mentioned. He's here. They're here. He is here. Does he have potential? Yes. But do I feel that potential now? No. That's just me. Final match. Tag match. Shayna Baszler and Lola Vice versus maybe the New Heart Foundation, because Petrovic and Natalya are working together. Natty's working with her. I want to say this about Natalya. I got to say this. Seeing that she's not in the title, the running for the North American Championship, is kind of silly. Yeah, I see Michin there. She's a veteran. It's understandable she's got to be there. But to be honest, to see Natalya there, I think would give the North American Championship a lot more, not prestige, but a lot more validation. For me personally, seeing her win it, I believe would have been the best thing. But she's not included unless someone gets hurt and is out of the running, and they bring her in as a emergency stand-in, and she wins. That would make the best sense because they didn't want her to be there. This makes the most sense. I'm sorry. I just do not see Micha, and I see that Natalya should be better. And trust me, I love me Jade. That's what she used to be called when she was in Impact and TNA. Jade. Michin, Mia Yim, deserves, if she does win, to have that title herself. But who is much more over? Who is more established? Who would make it even more valid? Is it Michin or is Natty, who now has currently being known as a boat because as a Guinness Book of World Record winner, having as a woman who is in international national TV, having the most matches that are known, kind of makes you think maybe you should go with her. Now the match was fine between these four women, but the way it was before the match happened with Lola and Shayna, that Shayna's telling, do not shake your ass. Be serious. He says, look, I'm a Latina. I can do this. This is my blood. To be honest, I'm half Spanish. That's bullfucking shit. You just want to emulate Eddie Guerrero. That's what all male and female Mexican, Puerto Rican, Dominican wrestlers do. They always imitate Eddie because he was so over with what he did. And I'm saying this as someone who is black and part Spanish. I'm part black, part Spanish, possibly Native American too. I wish there would be someone who would do something new. Something you wouldn't expect from someone who's Spanish or black instead of going for the stereotypes. Sometimes you can break out of the mold and make something entirely new. Or you can stay in the mold and try to get over that way. And a lot of people do the other way. Just stay in the mold. And with Lola, I would have liked to see her just be a little bit more different. But she doesn't want to be. She wants to be as she is. And honestly, it's working for her. Let's make it clear. But I think she could be one of those that could break out of that mold if she chooses. And could make something new. But she's going to stick where she is due to the fact she's still in NXT. She's not on the main roster. And that's what I think is the key here. In the end, we get Petrovic pinning. This is where it kind of upsets me when it comes to Shayna Baszler. She's putting over a lot of people. She got put over by Ronda, but she's still putting over a lot of people. And pretty much Lola kicks her in the head because she literally failed. Because Lola didn't get pinned. It was Shayna But then Shayna comes back, tries to choke her out, and now they're going to have a match at the at the Battleground PLE. But it's not an ordinary match. No, it's not. They actually went there. They want an underground match. They want an underground match. No. Please. Unless they're going to do a cage match. Maybe they'll change it at the last minute. Not an underground. They're in UFC territory. Why not make it a cage match? Why are you doing an underground match? What is wrong with these people? I don't care if it's pretty much Triple H who said do an underground match or HBK do an underground match. I don't care if it's Ari that says do an underground match. I don't agree with an underground match. Do a cage match. This would be perfect as a crossover from UFC and TKO UFC and TKO WWE. You want to see something? Make it feel important. Use the arena if counting on if they don't disassemble it and then put the WWE. I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to disassemble the octagon. They're going to put a regular cage there. I kind of wish they would keep the cage. Do that ahead of time. And then do all the other matches. That I think would be really cool. Make it the cage match. Keep the octagon there. But just put the ring in it. And just go with that. And then just assemble the octagon. That's just me. Might be okay, but that's just me. Peace.